How's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to week number 23 of our $2,000 weekly challenge. Every Friday, we release content on our experience trading the E-mini futures and the micro E-mini futures. I go through some of the trades that I do. I use a simple strategy that I try not to alter too much. And also, I go through my account statement just to show you how my progress is doing. And something I wanted to point out this week, you can notice on the left here on my watch list, you will notice that there's a U21 next to the E-mini futures. So U represents the September contract. So for ThinkOrSwim, they rolled over from the June contract, which is the M21, to the U contract, which is for September 2021. So if you're using ThinkOrSwim, one way to be able to look at this to understand this better, if you go on the tab on the top on Market Watch, you will see, and you type in the futures you're trading, you'll see that the previous one that we were trading was the June contract right here, which is M21. You can see there's 7 days left. And then now the brokerage basically rolled it over to the new contract. That's why you see this active here. And now we are trading the September contract. So it gets a little tricky trading when this rollover occurs, because you don't want to get stuck on M contract or the previous contract. Because I actually don't know what happens if you get stuck in there, but it's something that I don't want to find out. But hey, if you know what does happen, let me know in the comments below. But I always try to make sure that I'm on the active contract, that I'm trading the active contract. But what's tricky about this is if we look at the volume here for the YM, the volume is pretty much still 50-50 between the June contract and the September contract, which made the trading a little bit slower than usual. I mean, the YM is a lot slower compared to the other ticker symbols as it is, but slightly tricky today. But I'm hoping by next week, with everybody switching over to the September contract, then we'll do a lot better. So for this week, unfortunately, we did not reach our goal of $2,000. However, we did end the week positive at $971.06, which I'm happy about. So anything positive, I will take. And, there's just consistency that we're focusing on here. This week was a little special because I did not trade actively on the first half of the week. I was on vacation. Did my best to enjoy my vacation. Usually, I don't want to trade during vacation, but out of necessity, I tried to trade. If you check out one of my playlists when I was on vacation in San Diego, have the link above. Doesn't always go well when you trade while trading itself. But again, I tried to do it out of necessity. So for the first 3 days, we were negative for the week. But thankfully, on Thursday, we got back really strong. Got $2,000. And then today, just Friday, a couple $100. Like what I said, it was a little tricky with the contract switching from the June contract to a September contract, but hopefully it'll be a lot more better next week itself. So now the transparency part of our account statement. This is where I show my account statement, and this is how I measure my progress as well, based off of my cash balance. And if we look here, we are looking from essentially Sunday, May 6th to today, June 11th. And just going through our descriptions here, you'll notice that I did trade mostly the YM, which is the E-mini, but I also traded a few MYM. Maximum of 4 contracts that I was able to trade. So I was trying to trade both, which I think was the problem. But towards the end of the week, I tried to focus on only the E-mini. And as usual, I try to withdraw money for the week. So you can see here, we did withdraw $600. But something a little different this week is I also deposited $100 because I made some mistakes the first couple of days trading while on vacation. And it got a bit tricky where I was close to a margin call. And to meet that margin call, I had to deposit the $100 itself. So for this week, at our ending cash balance, we're just going to add $500. So for this week, we did end at $15,515.08. However, we did deposit $100, so I'm going to subtract that. But we did withdraw $600. So I'm going to add that back to our ending cash. And then our starting cash for the week is $15,044.02. And that gave us our total for the week of $971.06. And like I always do every week, just to make it relatable, I compared that to a regular 9 to 5 in the US, which is a 40-hour week for a full-time job. You may say, hey, did you really spend the full 40 hours? Yes and no. I'd rather measure it that way as opposed to some of the content you may see, which I've also done myself, where you can say, hey, I made $1,000 in 5 minutes. But at the same time, you also have to think about the times you're not trading and just watching the market. And I still consider that as actual time you're putting into your trading. So for this week, our equivalent hourly rate would be $24.27, which is not too bad. And we're hoping for another green consistent week next week. Hey, it's June 10th, about 11:22 in the morning, and I just wanted to talk to you about a few of my trades today to show you some examples of me using my strategy and how it worked out. So basically, I'm going to focus on this first trade here, and essentially what's good about this trade is I wanted to illustrate that sometimes you don't have to go for the home runs. Basically, just a simple trade will suffice, because the home runs are they're not very common, so you need to be able to learn how to take profits a lot quicker. So with this one trade here, I entered at the 705 candle, and the reason for that is if you look at the stochastic RSI, we were on the oversold side, and basically on the MACD we're about to cross over. And the reason I had confidence to enter this is if you look to the tick base chart on the equivalent chart here, basically we were already on the oversold side on the stochastic RSI, and if you look in the MACD, the lines are already starting to separate and diverging there, and you can see that clearly from the histogram itself. And that's the reason why I shorted at 34,656. And just to visually make it easier for us to see exactly where that is, I'm gonna draw a line across to show you where 34,656 is. And I'm also going to draw where we did exit there at 34,610. There you go. So essentially, what was great about this trade is if you look at my previous content or some of my live day trading, when I do exit a trade, this starts because I normally have an alert at 10 ticks and 20 ticks, or 10 points, 20 points. And when I hit those, I usually place an OCO, where I have a limit on one side and a trailing stop on the other side. And basically, I place that when I know that I'm already break even with a little bit of profit. So that way, if it reverses, I'm protected and I save whatever profit I do have. And also, I have the ability to really just focus on adjusting the limit side if it is going on the direction that I do want. And that's what happened with this one. And it was actually quite a nice little gain here. And let's just bring the calculator here just to show you. So essentially, we shorted at 656 and we covered at 610. So that was a great 46-point move. And essentially, since I'm trading only one E-mini, where 1 point move in one contract of E-minis consists valued at $5, that move at 46 points with one E-mini contract gave us $230 gross. So I say that's a pretty great move. And that's what I mean by you don't always have to go for a home run, because those moves are, a 46-point move. That's, that's rare that you get something like that. So the way the market has been going this past week, it's been flat. So I was quite happy with that move. And I didn't feel any FOMO on it because I'm not a perfect trader. And if you are and you were able to predict it going down a lot more, great for you. And, I never try to go for those peaks because that's a high expectation that I'm just setting myself up for a bit of failure, because a move such as this, which is, from about 670s to about 440s, close to that's at least 300-point move. That's not something that happens very often. Next, I want to talk to you about two other trades that I did on Thursday, June 10th. These were quick 5-minute trades that I did. The first one was a long position. And on this trade, I'm going to zoom in on that just so we can see what's going on. Basically, if you look at the candles, very bullish, higher highs, higher lows. And essentially, if you look at the MACD, yes, we're below the zero line, but it's starting to diverge here. And you can see that either by looking at the lines itself or on the histogram. And we are on the overbought side on the stochastic RSI. And if you look on the equivalent tick-based chart, the reason I entered when it was finally in agreement was when this crossover occurred here on the MACD. And then if you look on the stochastic RSI, we're also headed on the overbought side. So for this trade, we entered at 34,563. I'm just going to bring the calculator again just to make it easier. And we exited at 576, the entry of 563. So that's 13 points. And times 5, that gave us about $65 on that one trade here. So these are more of my usual trades, really. The $200, $300, $400 from a one E-mini. That's rare. This is more of my bread and butter, I guess, having this small trades that adds up. And this next trade that I did here was a short. I shorted this. I'm going to zoom in just to show you how we're doing here. And essentially, the reason I entered this trade was if you look at the stochastic RSI. Oh, first, when you look at the candles itself, you can see that's definitely a bearish move. I couldn't earn it earlier, but like what I usually do, I wait for all my indicators to line up nicely, and that's where you can see that the MACD is headed onto a crossover here for a bearish sign. On the stochastic RSI, we are on the oversold side, and if you look on the equivalent tick base on the right, stochastic RSI is on the oversold, and the MACD has already crossed over, so that's why I had more confidence to place that short. And I'm gonna bring that calculator back again, and essentially we shorted at 566 and we covered at 557, and that was just 9 points, but I'm happy with that because, again, I'm breaking even in a little bit of profit, and essentially times the 5, that is $45. So that's more of the more common trades that I do have. Average about a little under $100. But if you scaled up, that would be a lot more. And of course, if you have that big run like I had on the example in the first trade, then you'd have a lot more profit there. But anyway, it's 11:30 in the morning, June 10th on Thursday, Pacific time, and just wanted to show you some of those trades. I'll probably continue trading for today, Thursday, but hopefully you learned something on some of those examples that I showed there, and please do subscribe. But if not, please give me another chance, and hopefully you'll learn something on the next one. All right, have a good one.